Good afternoon. So we're on our fifth day of Sesshin, and last talk I was talking about the incompleteness of zazen, of when we sit, because it's so deep and profound that it's infinitely subtle, and this incompleteness then starts to work on us after actually long hours of sitting. But the sitting is important because it allows one to cultivate kind of this incompleteness or this completeness could be it's a quality that we're talking about something that's wordless, but it's a quality that is a sensing, starting to sense things. So that's why it's really important so of course we do the forms, but not to do them automatically. So sometimes I say to a person in the Zendo, oh, we don't start yet, we have to start all together. So doing things not automatic pilot, nor not sleeping, but we're starting to connect with you would say a deeper part of ourselves, but this deeper part of ourselves, then it's the infinite myriads of things that are in the universe. And so just like it seems like that we've in the part that I was talking about, the inconceivable or the incompleteness of zazen is like when Dogen was at the sea, it was raining pretty hard. It wasn't raining pretty hard in here, and we're just sitting. But you then become the rain. You become the rain. This is a sensing different than, oh, it's raining and when's it gonna stop? But we sit, and then we start to receive and also to connect. And this is actually through the forms and through the long periods of sitting. And that's what happened to Dogen was when he was with his teacher Tendo Nyoze at Tiantong Temple. He was sitting long hours, and then all of a sudden his mind and body dropped off.
Just like that.
Yeah, just like that. But it takes it takes something. So when he came back, usually in those times, people would bring back a seal, or a certificate or a title, right? They would bring back a title, but he came back and they asked him, what did you bring back? He said, I didn't bring back anything. And he said, I didn't even bring back the Buddha Dharma, but he said, my eyes are horizontal and my nose is vertical, meaning it's just that. There's no dispute between the eyes are horizontal and the nose is vertical. That's just what it is. Oh yeah, and then I was reading in the paragraph, and then it says it is what is it? So what is it? He brought back, which is actually something that's so deep and profound that there's nothing that we're doing. So that's why that going back to this incompleteness of aiming, we think we're aiming at a mark, but there's actually no mark that we're aiming at. Yeah, so the Sesshin and the schedule just it's the practice, the duration of practice, also your effort, how much you put into the practice. You should feel tired, but a tiredness in which the conditioned mind starts to slow down, and then you're sitting there and you don't want to fabricate stuff. You're just too tired, so you feel yourself actually sitting there. Maybe your knees hurt or your back hurts or you're sleepy, but it's then returning to actually just sitting. The eyes are horizontal and then the nose is vertical. So of course, once I start reading about the Genjo Koan, then it starts to go all over, because the Genjo Koan, it's basically, we're talking about the universe and emptiness. But anyways, Roshi told me he didn't want to give the talk today, so I will give the talk. Let's see here. Yeah, so I think we had a meeting. We have meetings after Oryoki in the morning, and somebody said, "Oh yeah, we're over the hump," or they call it. You know, when I was at Eiheiji, I was there for 6 months. So after the third month, then they started. Hoitsu Suzuki, he started to tell me, he's all "Kyuskete," and "Kyuskete" means be very careful. Because you think, oh, you can see the end of this suffering in sight, but it's dangerous to look at that. So then we loosen up, but even at this time is even to bring your practice even more so. It's of course in this sesshin, or at this period of time, 7 days. But as you grow older, closer to death, you should bring your energy and this cultivation more so, ever solidly, as you walk this path, as you grow closer to death. So it's like building a dam. You build the dam, and it takes many years to build the dam, and then the water fills up in the dam. But it's very easy. It could be lost like that, what you cultivate. So that's why you need to be very also compassionate to yourself, and then very strict with yourself. How you walk, how you stand, even how you don't walk and how you don't stand, how you sit on the couch. Everything should start to be practiced. So the cultivation, sustaining it, and then gathering it like a dam or ocean of water, and then you have to hold it. So that's really important. Yeah, and I've said this too before, that it's a regulating our breath, body, and mind. So, they did those studies. I think there was a book that came out a while ago of, what's it called? The water? Something about water. That little book? Do we have, maybe we even have it in the library. But about water, they did these, scientists did these tests on water. And they say, I love you, I love you, to the water, or they put a piece of tape on it, love, and then they said bad or hate, and then they freeze it, and then the crystal, the structure is different in the ones that you send or you intuit, you connect to these things. So the breath, body, speech, and mind. So it's how we walk, right? How we talk to each other, even how we think about things. Like, I look at that box and I'm all like, that's not good red. The box over there, not good red. I would choose another color. But then the box, the incense box, you affect then everything that you see with your thinking mind, with the thinking mind. This probably has to also do with healing oneself. Healing oneself is actually then healing all the things that you touch intuitively. And this intuit is intuition is I looked it up right when I came down here. It's immediate knowing, but without the without consciousness. So it's perceiving in a way that's way deeper than just this thinking mind. What this is the subject and then the object. So yeah, the zazen is important. Like I was saying, like the lake or the water. So it's cultivating, or actually the zazen is the light of the Buddha's wisdom. It's a wisdom that starts to appear, because then the mind drops off because you're tired, then there's a wisdom that appears, and then you're because the wisdom appears, then this then your qualities of your body, speech, and mind towards anything that you do, you start to connect, and it creates a goodness. And this goodness is then pulling back or returning to actually the place where you stand, and that's actualizing the fundamental point, is where you are. So it's, oh, in the oryoki we say, right? Do good, do good, not doing evil. What is the gatha? You know, the meal chant.
Refrain from evil.
Yeah, refrain from evil. So to do good, yeah, to do good is actually is yeah, to do good forms, to actualize forms, enlighten things is doing good, not as opposed to bad, but and then refraining from evil is not acting on, but then this quality cannot be helped but then start to attract goodness. It's the basic goodness of all things, and how this body then starts to intuit the functioning of the universe. So then you will not, you cannot but help but to take care of then everything around you. You know, like your shoes. We say pair your shoes, you know. I think it's even on the instructions, right? Pair your shoes. Yeah. So these are all forms, but then to do over and over again. So you start to intuit it. And then when I ran out the door, then you go into it. So you go into it when you intuit things, but you go into the forms. And when you go into it, then this is that connection. See, I'll read part of the Genjo koan. Seeing forms and hearing sounds with body and mind as one, they make them intimately their own and fully know them. But is not like a reflection in a mirror. It is not like the moon in the water. When they realize one side, the other side is darkness. So, I have to look at my notes here. I was inspired to pick this out because pick this part out because the Shuso was talking about in the morning when you come in, you see the charcoal. Yeah. And I think that we're talking about something that's wordless, and you can't explain it to anyone. So that's why it's hard, and for anyone but you, then it makes sense. But people, these are just words, like the people on the internet. It's just word, and it is just words all around here. It's just words. So when you were saying when you come in, you know, the charcoal is there.
Yeah, if I get my timing right after
Yeah.
Tokan has been
Yeah.
and it was like it was alive.
Yeah.
Or you had a feeling about it.
Yeah.
Alive.
Yeah. So, but just to notice the charcoal is already it's in going into it. So it's not even being on time. So now time is based on actually going into it So it's not based on clock time. So 5 o'clock, yes, it is 5 o'clock. And Shuso, yes, it has to be at 5 o'clock. But it's charcoal time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Charcoal time meets Shuso time. And then that's when I don't want to say something happens. Or what is it? That's what Dogen brought back. What is it? Dogen brought back, and that's just the eyes are horizontal and the nose is vertical. You see the charcoal, and then that's it. Nothing else. But then that's time that we're witnessing time now when we live our day in this way, not based on past, present, and future. But even this morning, I turn off my alarm, I get up, I go to the bathroom, grab the toothbrush, grab the Colgate, and then I kind of grabbed it. I grabbed it like forcefully. And so then I said, I'm sorry, it said, I'm sorry, So aggression going also too fast is aggression, right? So it should be you grab it, but then you feel where you are. But of course you're cultivating it. So you're not trying to be. We had groups that came, a Theravadan group. We'd host them. Oh, they came from Thich Nhat Hanh's, and they would do things so slow. Like we would ring the umpan for lunch, and they would walk from the zendo to the Sangha house, and then the Zen people would watch them, and we would go like this, and it would take a long time for them to get from here to there. The Zen people would, and then when they watched us, we'd eat so fast, they would go like, "What are you guys doing?" Either too fast or then too slow. So this is regulating. Then throughout your day, you're regulating this quality of then being. So going back to this charcoal is very, very important. So then how you see objects in front of you, how they become alive in front of you. So it's not just things to use, but then this is going into it. Into it means then this is you. You're accepting the quality of this book, or you accept, your toothbrush, brushing your teeth. But it can be fast too. Usually in the morning for me, it's pretty fast because you get up and you want to save time. See, that's another one is trying to save time. Like when we wash dishes, right? Wash dishes really fast because then you could shave off another minute to have your coffee or have your tea, right? So that's why we're going fast. But we could still go fast, but then time then is by just doing it, and then that's where that quality of the light of Buddha's wisdom begins to shine. Just doing the dishes, forgetting about the self, and just do it, and then something happens. Or something doesn't happen. So of course that the charcoal. Seeing forms and hearing sounds with the whole body and mind as one. So this is beginning. This is, I think they have, maybe there's another translation. Hearing sounds with the entire body and mind, or engaging fully. of course, this hearing sounds with the body and mind is an interesting one too, because then you think, oh yeah, it's your body or it's your mind hearing sounds or seeing forms with the body. But then the charcoal then is seeing you. And so the charcoal is expounding, and then actually you're not seeing anymore. It's the seeing of the seeing that's seeing, and the witnessing. So then it changes around, and then it's the seeing of everything, the flowers, the camera, the people on the internet, and then the whole world becomes then this seeing, and it's so beautiful. So it's not just this body, but then it's the body and mind of all the Dharma, the 10,000 things advance. 10,000 things in the world advance. So it's this, the Buddha's body is then this light or this wisdom that then goes beyond what we can even conceive of. And then that's that incompleteness that we feel. So then another moment goes, and then we do again. We intuit again. Yes, seeing forms and hearing sounds with body and mind as one. They make them intimately their own and fully know them. So I want to go into this this charcoal, that your charcoal, seeing the charcoal got me inspired then to look this another thing up. So there's a story of this Zen master, and so this Zen master's been practicing for more than 30 years, and he was taking a walk in the mountains, and he sat down at the bottom of the mountain, and there was a small village in the distance. And then he got up and he walked around. There was a very narrow path around this cliff, and it dropped off. He looked down to the, off the cliff, and then saw the water. He went around the cliff, and then he saw like flowers like that, peach blossoms, and he completely then was realized. He saw the peach blossoms right in front. But this is unexpected. He's been practicing for 30 years. So all day we see these forms and hear sounds, but we do not surrender ourselves, the self. We don't give the self up enough. So therefore, our whole day, just like the Colgate or the toothbrush, these glasses, I want to get a new pair, that color's bad. It's the mind or this deluded mind then creates a life in which is a life of suffering. And then that's why we can't see. So it's a life, or it's a dualistic life we live, and then that's why, like the Zen master, 30 years, and then the Dharma never came up because he was always thinking it was something else or is somewhere to be found. Maybe if I sit more, then or emptiness arises, but then you say but. Or maybe something settles, you feel settled, and then you scratch your head. It's that subtle, but it's the thinking mind is constantly like and you go, I know it's you, but just let me settle down. So anyways, he was awakened when he saw the peach blossom. And so he realized the truth, and then he went to his teacher, his teacher was really old by then. And then he wrote this poem. For 30 years, a traveler in search of a sword. How many times have leaves fallen and buds sprouted? After one look at the charcoal and the peach blossoms, I have arrived directly at the present and have no further doubts. And then there's this story too, and we've heard this story that the sword, it alludes to this other story that the sword, there was a man in a boat, and he was going down the river in this boat, and the sword fell in the water. So he took out his pocket knife and then put a little notch on the boat. And then the other guy in the boat asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to mark, I'm marking where the sword fell, but at the time when I get to the shore, I'll return to that spot, so I know where my sword is. But during that time, you go back to this, how many times have leaves fallen and buds sprouted? Interesting. How many times have you been seen, or how many times have you tried to see the Colgate or the coal on the altar, and then you go, okay, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. How many times? But the thing is that of course it's where you stand is where it's the blossoming of everything. When I was at Eiheiji, we were serving some, it was probably rice gruel. We were bringing it from the kitchen to the Soto, and there's probably like a group of 10 of us, I was the old guy because I think I was 42 or something like that. They called me Mr. Nyoze. So they're all really young, and some of us were smart, some of us were stupid, slow, weak, strong. But we're all running down the hall carrying this rice gruel to the Soto, and it was cold. There was you call them icicles. Icicles were from the ceiling and then down the walls because it was snowing at that time. It's in Fukui Prefecture, which is the Yellow Sea that separates Japan and China. So it's right on the coast, and it's cold. It was really cold. Some people have frostbite, and we're running to keep warm, not to serve not to serve the food, not because it was out of kindness to get the hot food to the people, but it was running because we were damn cold. But there was a moment that all of us saw this one drop, just like you were saying, in this clearing of the
the redwood trees.
yeah, the redwood trees. Again, that's these are moments that cannot be marked, and but then this seeing is not, it's not, you know, oh, then I'm enlightened, but it's also the water that is seeing everything. So there's no trace of enlightenment, and not even a trace of enlightenment remains. So that's great about it, and that comes from the light of the Buddha's wisdom. Do you have the time?
Yeah, it's
64.
12 minutes after 4.
Okay. Let's see here. With Buddha and nature, if you penetrate one, you penetrate the other. Buddha nature, nature is Buddha. Buddha nature is always entire being, because entire being is the Buddha nature. It is not an infinite number of miscellaneous fragments, nor is it like a single undifferentiated steel rod. It is a raised fist. It is a piece of charcoal. It is neither large nor small, inasmuch as entire being is the Buddha nature. When this seed receives the nourishment of Dharma rain, this is saying, this is what we usually think. When this seed, or like our practice, receives nourishment of Dharma rain, it begins to sprout branches and leaves, flowers and fruit appear, and the fruit contains seeds within them. This supposition is bred from illusion in the unenlightened mind. Even if you yourself should hold such notions, you still should penetrate in practice to the truth that seed and flower and fruit are each individually the unbared Buddha mind itself. Fruits contain seeds, and while the seeds cannot be seen, from them the seeds, roots, stem, and the rest of the plant emerge. So this talks about the blossoming. It's not, one thing is not another, but then it's the blossoming of all then the things that you see. Although they are not brought together from elsewhere, the twigs and branches develop and multiply, and the main trunk takes form. This is not a result of something inside of the tree or something outside of the tree, since it is always happens the same way throughout past and present, even were Even were we to accept the views of the enlightened, the roots, stem, branches, twigs, and leaves are each equally the Buddha nature, living the same life and then dying the same life as the entire being. If you wish to know the Buddha nature's meaning is not merely a question of knowing, it means also if you wish to practice it, if you wish to realize it, if you wish to expound it, if you wish to forget it, this expounding, practice, realization, forgetting, and including such other matters as mistaking it or not mistaking it are temporal conditions. The way to contemplate temporal conditions is through temporal conditions themselves. Contemplating temporal conditions of such things as a fly whisk or a staff or a shout. This is now hearing with the whole body and mind, or the charcoal on the altar. They can never be contemplated by illusory knowledge. And this is the intuition I'm talking about when you go into it. Non-illusory knowledge, or knowledge gained in original awakening, initial awakening, non-awakening, or right awakening. Must contemplate has nothing to do with someone contemplating or with something contemplated. It has no correspondence to right contemplation or to false contemplation. It is just contemplating. Hence, it is not the self-contemplating and is not another person contemplating. It is look, temporal conditions. It is the Buddha nature's emancipated suchness. It is look, the Buddha. It is look, nature. Just contemplate is tokon, is just contemplate, or directly contemplate. Directly contemplate is tokon. The dualistic notion of someone watching or waiting for something, and of regarding the present as merely a means or process in reaching some future point.